Alright, next up is Captain America, the First Avenger, which also came out in 2011. This one, I was a little more excited before I saw it compared to Thor. But one thing that was I wasn't looking forward to was Chris Evans as Captain America, and he proved me wrong because I thought he did a really good job. And one of the reasons why I wasn't looking forward to him because he played Johnny Storm in the Fantastic Four crappy films. But when I saw the movie, and I still think this when I watch this movie, I never think of him as Johnny Storm. Not once. The two characters are completely different. He played Captain America really well, Steve Rogers. And the film itself, I like Thor a little bit more, but I thought this was a decent movie. But I did feel like it could have been better. I did like the World War II setting. I thought the capture of that pretty good. I mean, the story is kind of simple. It's just pretty much about a guy who wants to prove himself, who wants a chance to prove himself, pretty much. Steve Rogers starts off as a little skinny guy. He tries so hard to get in the army, but he keeps getting rejected until one day a scientist played by what is his name? Stanley Tucci. He gives him a chance into the super soldier program, and that's where you also get Dominic Cooper as Howard Stark, which is Tony Stark's father. And you also have Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter, Agent Peggy Carter, and then his friend Bucky, and Tommy Jones as the colonel, as the sergeant. He does a good job. I thought Haley Atwell did a really good job. I really liked their love relationship a lot more than Thor romance, in my opinion. His friendship with Bucky was alright. I didn't get invested in the friendship as much, like Tony and Rhodey in the Iron Man movies, or the Loki and Thor brother relationship in the movie Thor. But this is alright friendship. It does improve with the sequel, I would say that, but I'll get into that when I review Winter Soldier. But I thought Tommy Jones he had some fun dialogue. With either with Captain America or with Peggy Carter. And then you get Hugo Weaving as a Red Skull, which I know this is kind of an unpopular opinion to say, but I thought he was weak as a villain. I really didn't think he was all that great. I felt like Hugo Weaving was phoning it in, which is funny because he actually has said that he's not going to return to play the Red Skull, which kind of makes sense because it felt like he didn't give a crap. I actually prefer the other character, the short little German dude. I thought the actor played him was a lot better than Hugo Weaving. Yeah, Hugo Weaving just didn't care. I just felt like he didn't care. I didn't care for him using the Cosmic Cube, which was shown in the end credits of Thor. I didn't really care for that stuff. And I like Hugo Weaving. It's not like I'm not trying to bash him or anything, but I liked him as the villain in The Matrix. I liked him as V in V for Vendetta. He's a good actor, but I just didn't think he really cared. I didn't care for him in the movie. But anyway, I like the whole build up to Steve getting into the super soldier program, and then the reason why Stanley Tucci picked him was because he was a good man. And he showed more bravery than any other soldiers that qualified. Despite everybody's disagreements to his decision. And also, like, what I really liked about the movie, that sometimes it's surprising with some of the moments. Like, for example, there's a chase scene after the super soldier program was complete. Captain America's chasing one of the Hydra goons, and he gets a kid and he throws him into the water, and then you thinking, oh, this is the part where Captain America saves him and like that guy gets away. But no, then I like the kid, like, I can swim, go get him. I thought that was kind of funny. Or the scene where Steve is still scrawny. The general tells the other soldiers, "Hey, whoever can get me the flag in that pool, gets a ride with the Agent Carter." And none of the soldiers can get it. And then and Steve just looks at it, and you think, oh, he's gonna climb. Yeah, she's gonna actually climb the pole. And no, he just takes the screws off and it falls and he gets the flag, and that's it. Like, the general didn't say he had to climb. He just says get the. He just told the soldiers, just get the flag. He never mentioned anything about climbing it. So Steve is, he's smarter than the other soldiers, and he's more braver, because there's a part where Tommy Lee Jones throws a fake grenade, but they all think it's real, and then Steve is the only one that goes towards it and tries to protect everybody. So he's braver, and he's smarter than the other soldiers. He's just not as big, and that's where you get the super soldier program, and he finally does get big and taller than his normal size. No, he is officially Captain America. And I also really what I like about this movie the most part was the first half, where you get to see Steve Rogers' development before he becomes Captain America. Him, getting the shield and getting the suit. Him rescuing all the other soldiers that were taken hostage. He saves them all. I like all that whole sequence. But then after all that, I mean, it becomes mostly about trying to catch the Red Skull, which I didn't care for. And then he thinks Bucky died after falling from the train, but as you know, that's not the case in the sequel. The movie, it also gets slow after the first half. I just thought it was alright. Kind of weak. I thought the final fight with Captain America and the Red Skull was kind of weak. But I did like the whole sequence where he has to sacrifice himself. So all the bombs don't hit their targets. He has to crash the plane. I like that bit where he has this final talk with Peggy Carter. And everybody thinks that Captain America died, but he actually was frozen. And Joe Johnston, who directed this movie, I thought he did a good job. He also directed The Rocketeer, which is very similar to Captain America, that's a movie I also liked. I thought that one movie was a little bit better than this movie, but this movie was good. It was decent, but not one of my favorites of the Marvel Studio films. But I will say that Chris Evans is a really good lead. I think he carries the film just fine. His relationship with Agent Carter, I thought was good. Ellie Atwell was, as Peggy, I think she did fine. She really does a good job at being, a tough woman in those times where women didn't have any rights. They were looked down upon as second-class citizens, but she really proves herself by the first scene where she punches that one soldier who talked some shit to her because she was British. Like I said, Tommy Jones was cool, like always, except for Batman Forever. But he did a good job. I've always been a fan of Tommy Jones. Dominic Cooper as Howard Stark, I thought he was decent. He did a good job. I actually liked the Howard Stark Steve Rogers friendship more than it did the Bucky friendship. I just don't think Bucky's that great of a character, to be honest. It's not I wouldn't blame him on the actor. Just he's just adequate, I guess. But like I said, for the most part, the characters are good, except for the Red Skull. I just don't care for that villain. I'm sorry. I like the song. I like the Captain America song that goes to the montage where he's kind of a sideshow kind of character. I like that bit as well in the movie where he's just a performer. He's not really there like he thought he was meant to be an actual hero. He's just a showman. I like that song, the Captain America theme song. I thought that was really cool. Where he has the original Captain America suit, which is goofy looking, but that's fine. And they're doing the whole propaganda thing where he's punching Hitler, not really, but an actor playing Hitler, he punches him. A really pro-America show, but he's doing it for the army, whatever, for the American audience. And the score itself, it was alright. I mean, it's kind of forgettable. I know I haven't mentioned the scores for these movies so far because I think, for the most part, they're a little forgettable. I think the scores in the feature films and the other movies are better, a little bit better. But I do like the Captain America theme song that they sing throughout the montage that I mentioned. But I'm gonna wrap up this review by saying this was a decent origin story. I'm trying to get the lighting here. This was a decent origin story. Could have been better, but Chris Evans did a good job. Most of the supporting cast did a good job. The action scenes were alright. They do get better in the sequel, but this one was alright. The CGI it seemed weird because it was a World War II setting, so it looks kind of weird when there is CGI. And I like the story of Steve Rogers, Captain America. But overall, it's like I said, I keep not trying to sound like a broken record, but it's a decent origin story. Could have been better. It's not the best of the pre-Avenger solo films, but it's not the weakest. I would say it's not as good as Iron Man. It's not as good as Thor. And it's not as good as Incredible Hulk. I think it's barely better than Iron Man 2. Just give it the slight edge, but this is not, it's not a bad film. It's a decent film. I like it for what it is, but it is very flawed, I'll say. But what do you guys think of Captain America: The First Avenger? Do you like it than the other solo films before Avengers? And I can't believe I almost forgot the ending of the movie, the very ending, where you see Nick Fury again after Captain America wakes up in the present time and he runs off. He sees Times Square for what it is now. It's kind of tragic how he never got to see. Well, he never got to be with Peggy ever again. And then the movie ends, and the end credits scene this time was just an Avengers trailer. Literally an Avengers trailer. But I like the movie regardless. Did you guys like the movie? Where do you rank it with the other Marvel studio films? Let me know in the comment section, and thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review. Hope you enjoyed the movie. And next up is the big one, the movie that broke a lot of records, that is loved by many people, and that is The Avengers, the main course. These movies, just the appetizers, but The Avengers was the main course, the big show that everybody was waiting for, the big movie that everybody was waiting for. And most people already know what I think of the movie, but I'll save all my thoughts for that review. But like I said, thanks for watching, and tune in next time for my review of The Avengers. Marvel's The Avengers. That's the actual title. Marvel's The Avengers. Just call it The Avengers, whatever. Adios.